joy of my new life with no one to pull that backseat driver BS. And even if I don't pass, there's a part of me that's starting to get swept up in the magic just a little bit, too. Like maybe all I needed was a change of scenery for my real life to begin. So when Brian invited me to tag along to this college bro fest, I hesitantly agreed. I mean, hanging out with my brother and all of his frat brothers isn't exactly my definition of a good time. But I'm stuck here for the summer while my parents make the great move from Florida to California. And as annoying as college guys are, I can't exactly find fuel for my blog locked in a closet all day. I mean, I'm basically the queer Superman, putting on a secret identity that makes me even hotter, just so I can go around saving people with my ultra-secret project. It's called the Meet Cute Diary, a blog designed to bring love to trans kids in need. In a lot of ways, it's the single most important thing in my life. I lock my phone and slip it into my pocket, glancing toward Brian to make sure he's not peeking over my shoulder. He leans forward in his seat and makes some dad joke about the retreating mountains, while the driver forces out a fake laugh as he guides us off the freeway. From the highway, I can almost pretend I'm still in Florida. But the second we take the exit, the looming mountains and greenery steal my breath. This tiny little car feels even smaller with trees and rock formations staring down at us. Brian taps a hand against the back of the passenger seat, which is pulled all the way up, a tiny trash bag hung around the headrest. I'm telling you, man, that play was the worst one I'd seen all season. Like, completely amateur. Is he talking about sports? Gross. When we were kids, Brian and I were really close. We've only got a 3-year age gap, and we used to share everything. Toys, music, friends. Then he got a car and a booming social life, and soon I got out of his way so he could impress all his new friends. And really, it makes sense. He's the athletic type, conventionally attractive, really personable, straight, cis. He was the second person I came out to. I told him just before Christmas this past year, thinking it might be easier since he lived halfway across the country. And really, he took it rather well, albeit a bit overzealously. He kept sending me links to books about trans people and trans actors getting roles and just about any article that vaguely related to transness at all. It was all kind of ridiculous, but I'd rather he be a bit too invested in my transition than outright reject it. And in a way, I feel like things between us have gotten better than they were when we were kids. Maybe it's just me. It kind of feels like everything's better now that I've grown into who I am. When the car stops in front of what looks like a frat house, Brian shoves open the door and hops out like he's about to run a marathon, even though he's got a long metal tray in hand. I roll my eyes before sliding out after him. I blink back against the overbearing sunlight, and Brian laughs, slapping a hand against my shoulder as he says, "Don't worry, it's just the sun. It won't kill you." Which is bold of him to say, since my sun aversion is largely his fault. My current bedroom is a closet, which I told Brian is child abuse, but it's not really the space or even the lazy metaphor that bothers me. I basically end up oversleeping every morning since no sunlight filters in, which means I lose out on valuable Denver time and even more valuable social media time with all my old Florida friends. And really, this week that I've spent in Denver is also the first week I've spent openly trans, and it's stifling to be locked inside all day. I want to let my hair down, or at least what's left of it since I chopped most of it off for my transition. We hit the smoky backyard and are immediately greeted by a loud-as-hell group of college students. Brian passes off the tray to some guy in a baseball cap, who opens the lid with an eyebrow raised. The crowd's pretty white, so I wouldn't be surprised if they've never seen onigiri before, but Brian stayed up pretty late last night making them. He's been on a cooking kick for the past month or so since he started dating a white girl who likes exotic cuisines. It's all part of that straight girl fixation on jocks who embrace their feminine side by cooking and taking care of animals, but definitely not by wearing dresses or makeup. Maggie comes up and kisses Brian's cheek. I've never seen her in person before, but she's pretty in that tall, thin white girl way, with waist-length brown hair and acrylic nails. Brian introduces me to the group, saying, "This is my brother, Noah." A black girl with gorgeous dark skin and a badass fro claps Brian on the shoulder and says, "Oh, a real brother." And Brian flushes, his eyes going wide as he jumps in to defend my manhood or whatever. "Yeah, of course he's my real brother. Why would you think he's not real? He's totally valid." "Brian," I say, using a cough to cover the laughter bubbling up in my chest. "Pretty sure she means not a frat brother." Brian lets out a